Morning, everyone. I'm Louis Wheaton, professor in biological sciences and also the director for the College of Sciences Center for Promoting Inclusion and Equity in the Sciences. And we're very thankful to be a part of this, present what we discussed, what we worked on over the last year, this collaborative approaches to research engagement. We're trying to build a more community-centered, realist approach to human subjects research. We have our Georgia Tech team, which includes, Jenny Hirsch and Melanie Clark, Nicole Kennard, Phenique Parker, graduate student in my lab, as well as Leah Marzo from CPIs, as well a team of individuals from the Georgia Health Policy Center who are always interested in working with health disparities. So one of the aspects of the goal of this is really to increase the ability for human subjects research to be more human-centered and more community-based. It is very easy in human subjects research space to get locked onto a research question and use convenient samples of populations in order to make some pretty dramatic findings or dramatic statements of findings related to a particular health disorder. The problem with that is it leads to very strong selection bias of what those results mean, how they can be actually interpreted in the broader community setting, and if they actually reflect at all the community involved. Some of the preliminary work that we did as a part of this, we noted, for example, in the case of stroke research here in Atlanta metropolitan area, most clinical trials are overwhelmingly white and male, despite the fact that stroke dramatically affects more underrepresented minorities and has a high preponderance of women here in the state of Georgia. So we wanted to understand, is there a methodology that can really bring together institutionally within Georgia Tech and be a model for what can be done nationally in really connecting the community of the populations that we're trying to serve into stronger translation. One of the events that we had at the end of the year, after several meetings and discussions and connections with a lot of community groups, was to form a collaborative approaches to research engagement event that was held at the Georgia Tech Hotel. In that, we invited several members of various community stakeholder organizations, research organizations, individuals that were really focused on community engagement together. And we laid out a very strong framework. The framework is what you see here, with basically 5 thrusts that were a focus on things that we should be doing within the research network that are important for researchers here at Georgia Tech to be considering. Our next steps are to continue with more colleagues on and off campus in really developing best practices and proposals based on this framework. So specifically, how can we implement this framework even into the institutional review board model of how research even gets started in the first place, and building that in to test that framework through more collaborations within the care community. That has also certainly involved funding opportunities and several community groups that have been a part of the care, that were part of that care session or expressed interest in that care session, reaching out and developing some interesting proposal ideas that could be leveraged. And starting now that the semester started back up, we will be communicating back out to the care community next week starting. And as well, identifying collaborators that are particularly interested in public policy, implementation science, and community science and health advocacy are being important collaborators trying to develop this forward into more proposals down the line. Thank you so much.